Which of these outstanding professional athletes will be honored today? Nominees include from baseball, George Brett of the Kansas City Royals, Willie Stargell of the Pittsburgh Pirates. In football, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Terry Bradshaw and Earl Campbell of the Houston Oilers. In boxing, heavyweight champion Larry Holmes and welterweight champion Sugar Ray Leonard. Today from Las Vegas, stars of the entertainment world honor stars of the sports world in the 14th Annual Victor Sports Awards. And live from Anderson, Indiana, undefeated Superfoot Wallace in action, defending his middleweight title in full contact karate. Coming right up on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
The Sunday CBS Sports Spectacular. Today's show is sponsored by Lowenbrau. When it's time for the taste of a truly great beer, let it be Lowenbrau. Black & Decker's Workmate. When you've got a tough job to handle, it's like having an extra pair of hands. And by Midas. When it comes to what's under your car, it pays to Midasize.
Everybody knows that Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world, but this week it also became the sports capital of the world as guests from all over the country have flown to the most glamorous city in America for the presentation of the coveted Victor Awards honoring the greatest athletes of our time. The audience is now gathering in the main showroom of the Las Vegas Hilton, and we'll be joining them in just a few minutes as the nation awaits the presentation of the 14th Annual Victor Awards. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and welcome once again to the CBS Sports Spectacular. Well, the Victors are to sports what the Oscars are to the motion pictures, what the Grammys are to the record industry, and what the Tonys are to the Broadway stage. And we're here to honor the top professional athletes, as you already know, but this being an Olympic year, we are going to pay tribute to some of the Olympic stars of the 1980 Winter Games, as well as doff our caps to some of the great Olympic performance of the past years. We are in the green room. We are ready to go on stage for the start of the 14th Annual Victor Awards, and we have a star-studded cast of presenters, and we know you will enjoy the program this afternoon. But it is Father's Day, and right now I would like to say hi to all those dads viewing our program, and a particular hello and happy Father Day to Gary Bender, who is standing by in Anderson, Indiana. So let's get a report on our karate championship today from Gary Bender.
Thank you, Dick. We're standing by to bring you a World Middleweight Championship in full contact karate. As a man who's been a legend in the sport, Bill Superfoot Wallace makes his final appearance. His leg has been timed at 60 miles per hour. His opponent and challenger is Robert Biggs, who's from St. Louis. He has a style that could give Wallace a great deal of difficulty. We'll be back with that bout in Anderson, Indiana in a little while.
Thank you, Gary. We'll be back to you in Indiana for that championship coming up a little later on in karate. But right now, we're all set to go on stage for the 14th Annual Victor Sports Awards, and we'll be back with them in just a moment.
We're ready to bring you here in Anderson, Indiana, scheduled 12-rounder for the World Middleweight Championship of the World, PKA Full Contact Karate, and the superstar of our competition, Bill Superfoot Wallace, coming into this arena in Anderson, Indiana. This man is 21-0, the defending world champion. Let's watch him in action. Wallace is labeled Superfoot. The reason? A devastating left leg, which has been clocked in excess of 60 miles per hour. But this world middleweight champion has also developed a devastating left hook, as evidenced in this title fight against Pat Worley when he took Worley out in the first round. Robert Biggs has a different style that could give Wallace a lot of trouble. I asked him if he had different training tactics for this fight.
Yeah, I usually run maybe 2.5 miles, but I've been running like 5 miles a day. Been doing between 20 and 24 rounds, a lot of kicking, a lot of hand techniques, and been eating a lot of hamburgers. I'm really greasing up for this one.
Bill, this bout has been labeled as your final bout, that you are in fact going to retire.
Well, I'm old. I'm almost 35 years old, so I don't heal like I used to. And a lot of young kids coming up being able to hit real hard and just as quick as I am. So I want to be remembered as doing something that I was the best at. So they usually have a tendency to remember you for the last thing you did, and I don't want to go out a loser.
And here's the challenger, Robert Biggs, 29 years old, from St. Louis, Missouri. I asked him what he's going to have to watch out for against Wallace.
His left leg and his left arm. If we could tie those two together, I'd have it made.
He kicks at 60 miles an hour, they say.
Right. It looks like it.
What's that feel like?
I haven't been hit yet, but I'll let you know later on.
Our expert analyst for this World Middleweight Championship is Joe Corley, who fought Superfoot Wallace in 1975 for the title bout. Now, very quickly, what are some of the rules that we're going to have to really look at as we start the fight?
Well, as you know, both fighters can punch and kick. Each fighter will have to throw 8 kicks per round, and they all have to be above the belt.
And we might indicate that this foot pad is very instrumental in the fight.
That's right. The foot pad weighs about 4 ounces. It covers the top of the foot, not the bottom of the foot.
And so we're going to be back for Bill Superfoot Wallace's final bout. And now let's go to the center of the ring for referee Jay Will and his instructions to the fighters.
When I say break, make sure you step back. I will step between you. Do not resume the fight until I raise my hand and say continue. Shake hands now, and we'll come out and bow.
And there is Robert Biggs, ranked 5th in the contending ranks of the middleweight division. He's a man who appears very shy, but he's extremely confident. And Bill Wallace, he has been a legendary figure, Joe Corley.
The growth of this sport, PKA full contact karate, has been closely associated with the popularity of Bill Wallace.
Wallace is 34, Biggs is 29. Remember now, scheduled 12-rounder, 2 minutes in each round. They must have 8 kicks per round. That's a minimum kick requirement. If they do not, they lose 2 points for each kick below that.
Each kick below that, and that 2 points is subtracted from each judge's scorecard. Robert Biggs so far is keeping the hands up, wary of the right, of the left round kick of Bill Wallace. Also, he has to worry about the left hook of Bill Wallace. That means Biggs is going to be trying to keep that right hand up close to his face. Wallace has some good, strong side kicks to the body.
Joe, we keep hearing that Biggs' style could really give Wallace trouble. Why?
Robert Biggs is a very aggressive kind of fighter. He starts slow. First 2 rounds, you can normally see Biggs just really tense. Then he starts to key in. He starts to get very intense, and he really begins boring in then.
Wallace, a man whose leg has been timed at 60 miles per hour, kicks with only 1 leg as opposed to most fighters.
And you saw it then and again with the left leg. The left round kick came up, caught Biggs up high on the head. Then the swing kick, round kick came back, catching Biggs on the body. Biggs will begin to loosen up, as I say, round 3 or 4. Good left hook, right hand combination by Biggs. Wallace not hurt.
Everyone talks about Wallace is always in superb condition.
He stays in good shape. You can see that there's hardly any fat on his body. Very low percentage of body fat on Bill Wallace.
He's a 165-pounder. He's 5'10 and a half. Biggs is 165. He stands 5'11. You see the time remaining in round 1.
Nice round kick in by Wallace. Biggs snapping his head back just on the end of the kick. Wallace using the jab fairly effectively. Good right hand there by Biggs. Good double hook by Wallace. Left hook to the body, left hook back to the head. Very, very quick.
And that's that left hand that Wallace has developed through the years as round 1 is coming to a close. Round 2, the scheduled 12-rounder. In the white trousers, the defending middleweight champion Bill Superfoot Wallace, Robert Biggs, the challenger.
How about that first round, Joe?
First round I gave to Wallace by a score of 10-9. He landed the more solid blows in that round. Biggs starting slow as we expected he would. Biggs with a little cut, looks like from a toenail on the right side of his head. There's a solid kick. That was the kind of kick that cut the first round. Cut just next to his nose.
He has 3 variations off that kick, Wallace does.
He can throw a side kick, which comes straight into the body. He can do the hook kick, which comes around behind the head, or the round kick, which comes to the front of the head. And you don't know which way it's coming. He has successfully gotten Robert Biggs to drop the right hand a little bit. Biggs is a little wary now about closing the distance. A little wary about that left hook of Bill Wallace's.
And that is the key. Biggs wants to move in, doesn't he?
He wants to close in. I expect after this round he'll begin to pick up a little steam and start putting on a little more pressure. This is a 12-round fight. That's 24 minutes of karate, which is equal to 15 rounds of boxing because of the energy expended in the kicks.
Joe, one thing we should mention too, the last fight that Biggs was in, he got into trouble early, then came on strong to win.
Started out slow. He fought Kerry Roop in Detroit. Kerry Roop came out and knocked him down with a spinning heel kick in the first round. Biggs came back and picked up steam at the end of the final round, was still going strong.
One thing we should mention, you change one rule, you cannot throw a fighter like they used to let you do in PKA rules.
Bill Wallace is a brown belt in judo, and he was very effective with the throws. But the rules have changed so that you cannot slam the man down on the floor. The determination was that the floor surface was a little bit hard to be slamming your opponents down.
But again, they must kick 8 times at the waist or above to meet that minimum kick requirement as we come now to the end of round number 2 in this World Middleweight Championship bout. An excellent crowd here in Anderson, Indiana. Let's go back in round 2 and watch the kick of Superfoot Wallace.
Wallace moves in with the round kick. You see Biggs dropping that right hand. The kick lands high on his head. Good solid snap.
We might mention they have a mandatory 8 count. You cannot be saved by the bell as we come to round 3. Again, Wallace in the white trousers, Biggs in the black.
There's that round kick again. Doubled, went to the body, back to the head with it.
Look at that left leg.
Amazing. He throws it like most fighters use their left arms. Both fighters have waived the 3 knockdown rule in this fight. It's normally in effect in PKA full contact karate matches and title bouts. It is normally waived by both fighters.
I think a lot of people say, why does Wallace only kick with one leg? But he injured his knee when he was in the service of the right leg.
Boy, good solid hook by Wallace. He injured that right leg and he started working on the left, and even though he only kicks with that one leg, there's not a whole lot most people have been able to do with it. He's got Biggs really reacting to the foot.
You can see right now he's a little tentative, isn't he? He's trying to pick his shot and not finding it.
There's a good right hand in by Biggs. Wallace with a double hook inside. Wallace hates to be hit, hates to be hit. That's where Biggs may put Wallace in trouble if he nails him and can get Wallace in a Donnybrook with him. Wallace staying cool so far.
Superfoot Wallace, he's held this title since September '74.
Good right hand in by Biggs.
Step back, good, that's it. Continue.
Biggs' big strength, like I say, will be good. Wallace stay inside with him and punch with him. Wallace's advantage would be to stay outside and kick. 12 rounds is a long time to stay away and kick. You can see Biggs start to settle in now. He's starting to feel a little more confident.
One thing you must do against Wallace is overcome that sight, the whole mystique that he has.
Oh boy, that's really the truth with Bill Wallace, but Biggs, I think, is beginning to do that now.
You fought him, he tried to psych you out, right?
He did. He stared at me as hard as anyone has ever stared at me in the middle of that ring. Oh, good left round kick.
That devastating left foot of Wallace taking its effect. Let's look at it again, and then we'll look at the eye of Biggs.
That left round kick came up and popped Biggs in the eye right at the bell.
60 miles an hour it's been clocked. As an end result, a slight cut is opened under the right eye of Robert Biggs.
Right in the corner of his eye, he's got another small cut right under the right eye.
This is round 4, scheduled 12-rounder. If you've just joined us, Bill Superfoot, his final fight, he's in the white trousers.
Boy, did he double up on that one beautifully. To the body, Biggs dropped the right hand, and then the round kick came up and popped him in the head. Wallace Wallace isn't much. Oh, good. Another double kicked in by Wallace. Biggs almost ducked into the shin. It's been his big weakness in the last two fights against Kerry Roop and against Steve Mackey. He ducked into the shin, ducked to the right.
Bill Superfoot Wallace, his retirement fight, trying to successfully bow out undefeated as a world middleweight champion. And I think he looks superb. He's very quick today. We've seen him on other fights, and he started very well. Let's see, had a bump there, a little headbutt, I believe.
Both men apologizing to the other for banging their heads together. Accident. Biggs not closing the distance as early as I thought he would have. There he goes. Biggs could get in trouble if he gets in and drops that right hand and catches that hook, because Wallace does throw it with extreme power.
Boy, he wanted to show. Wallace did right away. He was in control, didn't he? After he took that shot, he came right back with a flurry.
Wallace does not like to get hit. When he gets hit, he does come right back from it, wants to get it back in a hurry. That's sometimes a problem. Biggs is very good with the uppercuts. In close, you saw Biggs work a couple uppercuts. He's very likely to do that every time they get in tight.
Inside 30 seconds now of round 4. Wallace, of course, he's fought these longer rounds. How about Biggs? How many 12-rounders has he got?
The longest fight Robert Biggs has gone is 8 rounds. Bill Wallace fought 9 rounds in his last title defense. Since then, the rounds have been increased to 12.
They're ready now for round 5 of this World Middleweight Championship. Bill Superfoot Wallace in the white trousers. Robert Biggs, the challenger, in the black trousers. And you were saying, Joe, that Wallace really dictating this fight right now.
That's right. As you were saying that, he popped Biggs again with that round kick. The reason he's been able to do that is Biggs has been staying out and let Wallace fight his pace and let Wallace fight his distance. A few times he's come in close and he's got Wallace to punch with him. But by and large, Biggs has been giving a lot of respect to that left foot, as he certainly should.
It amazes me how long he leaves that leg up there, as in contrast to other full contact karate fighters.
And he can just pop it, and while you're reacting to the first fake, he'll come and snap his leg into your face again, his foot into your face again. Biggs, as I say, when he gets in close, will want to work that uppercut. As he had Wallace against the ropes, he started in with the uppercut. Wallace very smartly getting out, fighting at a distance again.
Wallace, who is a native Indianan, a Hoosier, now at Memphis State, living in Memphis, Tennessee. He has written a textbook on the sports aspects of karate. So he is a student of this game as well as an outstanding fighter.
Solid right hand to the body with a left hook behind it and an uppercut. Wallace is smiling at Biggs. That's Wallace's way, of course, of letting him know he's not hurt. But knowing Bill Wallace as long as I have, he's irritated. He'll want to get that back in a hurry.
That is the first bright spot in this fight for Biggs, was that last flurry. Other than that, it's been Wallace. How do you score it going into this round?
I have Wallace leading the fight 40-37. It's unofficial, but it seems to me like Biggs is beginning to get Wallace in a little closer to him now. Wallace wanted to hit him with that hook, which he did then. Solid.
That's the most improved aspect of Wallace, is his punching ability.
Almost got in a little trouble then. Wallace cocking that left hook, dropping it.
We're ready now for round 6 in this World Middleweight Championship bout. Biggs, as you mentioned, is the type of fighter who gets stronger. Is he doing that in this fight?
He has not picked up the pace the way I thought he would yet. I tell you what, maybe one of his problems is that right eye. I imagine he's been seeing a couple or 3 things out of that right eye ever since the toe went in it earlier in the fight. That was a nice hook kick by Wallace, landing with the heel behind Biggs' ear. Biggs right behind it with the counters.
You hear referee Jay Will separating them, but it's been a very clean fight. They've been moving very well. Look at that left leg. He just defies you to pick it up, and then he'll come at you in a different direction.
Nice right hand to the body, Biggs. Left hook counter, Wallace.
Wallace will retire after this fight. He's had a lot of opportunities to do other things. He's already starred and co-starred in one movie and has another one coming out.
Be starting another movie in the fall. I think he'll be starring either as himself or someone who's supposed to be him. Good right hand in by Biggs in close. Wallace very wisely moving out, keeping the distance. Biggs is starting to move him into the corners now. The good uppercut inside in by Biggs. Good right hand by Biggs. Another uppercut.
Wallace said, I want to retire undefeated, and he has a real challenge as we're in the 6th round of the scheduled 12-rounder. You can see Biggs now starting to assert himself.
I do believe that right eye's been giving him a little problem.
World Middleweight Championship here. PKA, full contact karate, and there's the time left here in the 6th round.
Good solid right hand in by Biggs. Wallace dropping back with that left hand down. Biggs catching him with the right. Now Wallace throws that hard hook, but he can get himself in trouble by dropping it down to cock it. A good right hand will certainly beat the hook because it's straight.
And we approach the halfway mark of the scheduled 12-rounder. Look at the two fighters, Bill Superfoot Wallace, Robert Biggs, as we come to round number 7 in this World Middleweight Championship. Jay Will from Columbus, Ohio, the referee in charge. And how do you score it thus far, Joe Corley?
I've got Wallace leading 59-57. I gave the last round to Biggs. Biggs starting to land a few harder shots now, closing to this good round kick by Wallace. Biggs closing the distance, beginning to put Wallace in the corner more. Wallace has thrown 78 kicks at the end of the 6th round. Biggs has thrown 70 kicks.
There's that left hand again at Wallace.
While Wallace is throwing the left hand, he tends to drop the right hand. If Biggs lands the hook while Wallace misses. Oh, good. Round kicked in by Wallace. Snapping left leg round kick.
Don't push.
If Wallace drops that left hand too far, Biggs could nail him with the right hand. If Wallace drops that right hand too far, Biggs could nail him with the left hook. Biggs will go in and throw right hand shots to the body occasionally, trying to set up his left hook to the head. Good coverage then by Biggs, picking off that left hook with his right arm.
Okay, this Biggs is trained under a good one. He's under the direction of Fred Wren, a former world-ranked middleweight contender. So he's had good tutelage. Trying to put it to good use now against the guy who's as cagey as anybody. Look at that left.
That was a double left hook to the head with Biggs dropping that right hand, starting to throw it. Well, that was a rare right hand by Wallace. Wallace doesn't throw a lot of right hands. Looked like he caused a little mouse under Biggs' left eye. No hard right hand in by Biggs inside. Wallace back against the rope, caught the right hand solid.
And there's the time remaining in round 7. Wallace has been traveling a lot. Some people wondered about it. Look at that right hand that time.
Another solid right hand. Same move. Biggs is sneaking the right hand in tight and close. Wallace working himself out of trouble there very smoothly.
Hard to say. Wallace has traveled a lot. They wondered if it would hurt his stamina, but he's in such good shape all the time as round 7 is coming to a close. Let's look at this again. Watch this right hand now by Biggs.
Biggs in tight. That right hand lands right across the jaw.
Round 8 as Superfoot Wallace, Robert Biggs in this World Middleweight Championship bout. How do you score it right now?
I've got Bill Wallace leading 68-67. I gave Biggs the last round again, 10-9. He's beginning to pick up the pace. Wallace's stamina still seems to be holding up, though. Biggs is catching him more. Biggs is loosening up.
So you have only 1 point separating the two of them right now.
That's correct. I have Wallace with 88 kicks, Biggs with 79 through 7 rounds.
Look at that spin.
Wallace with a spinning back kick. I think it's the only one he's ever thrown in a title defense.
Well, I was interested in Biggs' reaction there.
He smiled. He thought that was cute. Right hand to the body by Biggs. Wallace with a beautiful left leg counter.
Remember now, they have to meet that requirement of 8 kicks per round.
Wallace works himself off the ropes beautifully with the hooks.
He hasn't been able to really do much with him on the ropes, has he? Biggs gets him there, and he fights his way out every time.
Wallace lets him take a punch or two, then fights his way out. Oh, good, beautiful double kicked in Wallace to the body, to the head, just like a boxer would throw a hook. Biggs holding that right hand up now, picking shots right to the body, left, right, inside. When the fighter starts throwing that right hand to the body, you can look for a hook behind it to the head.
Keep your head up. We're in round 8, scheduled 12-rounder. Now he's got him in the ropes, but again, Wallace escapes.
Biggs throws some fairly short, stiff punches inside. They don't seem to have any one of them a real knockout power to them, but the combination of them are the things that could hurt Wallace.
Really, Biggs hasn't been all that effective kicking, has he? It's been mostly the punching.
No, he hasn't. It's very difficult to be effective with your kicks against Wallace.
Why is that?
His reflexes are just unbelievably good. That was a good right hand by Biggs. Wallace a little irritated. He's come back out with multiple punches. Crowd loving that flurry.
And round 8 is coming to a close. That's Sunday, the 15th, Shark Tagging Part 1, as that will be an outstanding event. And then we'll have Dokes Ocasio going against each other in 2 weeks on the Sports Spec. Look at that spinning kick by Bill Wallace.
A rare right leg kick by the Superfoot. Superfoot because he only kicks with the left leg.
Saturday and Sunday. Next week, Shark Tagging Part 1. I had the opportunity to do that the first time. It is exciting, and you can see Biggs with that lethal right hand.
Really vicious right hand. The look on Wallace's face was vicious then as he unloaded. I mean, that's the most powerful right hand I think I've seen Wallace throw. Biggs really reacting, going under that left hook kick. That's not a bad combination by Biggs in there. That left right to the head.
Ready? Continue.
He continues to want to get him in the ropes. Thus far, Wallace has been elusive when he gets in there.
Wallace has kept him intimidated with the left hook. Biggs has not closed in as often as I thought he might have.
This fight coming to you live from Anderson, Indiana for the World Middleweight Championship. Full contact karate. Bill Wallace, the superstar in this event, trying to finish undefeated as he retires after this fight.
Robert Biggs is going to have to really pick up the pace, put an extreme amount of pressure on him for the rest of it to take it.
That right hand again.
Starting to unload more power in the right hand. He's still letting Wallace work himself out of the corners, not keeping Wallace in the corner and working him over. You see there, Wallace's back's against the rope. Wallace begins throwing his counter punches. Biggs just kind of spins, lets Wallace out of trouble. Good solid right then by Biggs. Couldn't see where it landed.
Biggs 15-1 in his career. Wallace has never lost a fight.
Biggs starting to get Wallace a little more than Donnybrook. That right hand stuck right between Wallace's hands, and Biggs came with a good uppercut behind.
You can see why they say Biggs is very workmanlike. He's just working. He's just slugging it out, improving as each round goes by. As you see, we approach round 10, and Joe Corley, I think this fight's going how you figured. As it goes on, Biggs is getting stronger.
That's right. He's not picked up the pace as fast as I thought he would.
All right, let's go now to round 10. This is a scheduled 12-rounder.
Again.
How would you score it thus far?
I've got Wallace leading 87-86 by 1 point.
That's been the spread most of the fight, hasn't it? About a 1 point difference between these two.
Wallace has thrown 106 kicks in 9 rounds. Biggs has thrown 99.
And I might add, Wallace much more effective with his kicks.
He has popped Biggs' head a number of times with the round kick. Biggs' effectiveness has been inside with the left-right combinations and the uppercuts as he's had Wallace against the ropes.
Both fighters look strong, don't they?
Both fighters have tremendous punching power. I would say Wallace is superior in that category. By virtue, you can see the development in his upper body. Lats, shoulders, biceps, triceps, very powerfully built.
You said when he started he was not all that well developed. He's really worked at it.
He doesn't do a lot of weight training, but his karate training has included hitting the heavy bag just like the boxers do, the speed bags, and all the things that boxers do in addition to his kicks. And with that has come a tremendous upper body development.
Wallace, the world champion in this middleweight division, in the white trousers. Biggs, the black. Pretty good blow there by Wallace.
Good jab then by Wallace. Beat the hook. Looked like he might have had Biggs in a little trouble. Good solid right hand then by Wallace.
Boy, did you see the poise of Biggs? He tried to shake it off.
What a solid right hand in by Biggs. He unloaded that one. Wallace may be a little hurt. I can't see from here. That's the kind of Donnybrook that...
Look at that, a late punch. And I'm sure that Big stood like that. Jay will now will warn him. There'll be no penalty.
Seriously, sure.
But it did not make Wallace very happy.
Sure?
No, Wallace smiled. He said no problem. The referee making sure that he's okay, that he's not suffering as a result of that blow. They exchanged jabs then.
Round 10 coming to a close. With 2 rounds to go, Joe Corley, what do we see here?